The year before I was diagnosed with a chronic cancer, my husband told me he was leaving me, but he didn't leave because what man could leave his wife at the cancer center? A year and a half after that, it was clear there was nothing left for either one of us. He left. Another year, and I was told my chronic lymphocytic leukemia had transformed my brain and spinal column. The prognosis wasn't good. The hardest part of this diagnosis was that it was aggressive. I had to start chemo right away. It was just before Christmas, and all I could think about was being home with my children. Now that I didn't know how long I would live, I wanted to spend as much time with them as possible. I wanted them to know who I was. I collected my photos out of the boxes they were stored in and consolidating them with my digital photos into annual photo books. Going through my old photos reminded me of how much time I spent outside growing up. At 16, I discovered hiking and camping, and at 18, I began exploring the backcountry of New Hampshire, sometimes up to a week on my own. I wanted my girls to know that their mom was someone who took risks and to find success by the experience of the effort she put into things, not just the outcome. I was scared that all they would know is my ex-husband's view of me or that I forced them to eat their vegetables. Passing on these memories was the most important thing for me at those 5 months. By some miracle, my sister was the exact stem cell donor match. I can't get the image out of my mind of her hooked up to the machine having her stem cells harvested while breastfeeding her 5-month-old baby. I remember thinking that Darge women are damn strong. Even though I'd started chemotherapy that would destroy my bone marrow 7 days earlier, it didn't really sink in that there was no turning back until the nurse said, "If you have a reaction to the infusion of stem cells, we will not stop because this is your life." 2 months later, still in the middle of a grueling recovery, I was sitting on the couch with my older daughter looking at my backcountry adventure journals, and she said to me, "Can you take me sometimes, Mom?" And in that moment, I realized something. I thought that I wanted my daughters to know about me, but I wanted so much more for them. I wanted them to know what they were capable of. I wanted them to be confident enough to take risks, to push their boundaries. I wanted them to be resilient. 75 days post-transplant, I packed up the van, took a nap, drove out to Peter Lougheed Provincial Park, and set up camp. And after lunch, we started our mountain activities. The longest hike may have only been 1.5 kilometers. Still, we did it. Last September, I took my older daughter backcountry camping, and this summer, only 2 years after transplant, both my daughters and I are doing a 180-kilometer trip in British Columbia. Together, we are pushing our boundaries to see what we are capable of.